Hey folks, Machinery Pete here. Hope the month of June's off to a good start for you. Yesterday, Thursday, June 3rd, I had the opportunity to do a conference call with Merrill Lynch, big investment firm on Wall Street. They invited me on to talk to pension fund managers and large investment groups about what I'm seeing going on right now with the used farm equipment market and also in the used construction market. And anytime I get the chance to talk about used equipment and auction prices, I always enjoy the opportunity. But I got thinking afterwards, why just share this message and trends I'm seeing with the folks on Wall Street? Why not share it with our audience right here at MachineryPete.com? So let's do that now. I'll walk you through this slideshow presentation I worked up, and yeah, we'll see what's going on in the used market. All right, here we go. My Machinery Pete Used Equipment Market Report for the second quarter 2010. All right, let's check out the first slide here. And generally, my point is that used farm equipment values are still very strong, but just not quite as hot as they have been. You know, it's just over 20 years now I've been collecting all these auction prices on all types of equipment. And I've thought that actually what I need to do, and it's a project I'm working on right now, is kind of develop a Machinery Pete Used Price Index, where we could give you a snapshot of the current conditions in various segments of the used equipment market. So for purposes of this report I did for Merrill Lynch, I kind of went with a 1 to 10 scale, with 10 being the strongest in terms of high auction prices and used equipment values, and 1 being the lowest. So I guess what I would say is for the second quarter 2010 right now, overall used farm equipment values I'd say are running about an 8.3, and that's down from maybe like a 9.5 rating, which would be the highest that I've ever seen the used farm equipment values, which was basically from November 2007 through the first quarter early 2009. You know, going back to November 2007 when commodity prices shot up, auction prices went through the roof on all types of equipment all over the U.S. and Canada. And again, early in 2010, used values down just a little bit, but still overall pretty strong. So let's go to the next slide. Reasons for the continued strong used equipment values. Number 1 has to do with new equipment. It costs a lot of money, and those costs continue to go up 2 to 4 to 6% a year. So if you go to any auction, I mean, you guys have seen this out there, what does the auctioneer invariably say as the bidding draws down to the kind of the end there? They'll say, well, what's a new one cost, boys? And everybody knows that new equipment costs a lot. So this is a big driver for the used farm equipment market, to acquire a nice older piece of equipment, whether it's 2 years old, 5, 10 years old. Just perceived value right there. Point 2, availability issues with new equipment. We're still kind of under the you buy it, we'll build it model that the manufacturers have kind of been sort of pressed into by Wall Street, looking for efficiencies with production. So again, when any market becomes about availability, price becomes secondary. So we've definitely seen that with new equipment, and also on the auction market. Point 3 here deals with the number of farm auctions. I mean, whatever part of the country you're in, I'm sure you've noticed in your local ag paper, you look in the classified section, there haven't been many sale bills here the last year. In fact, I looked at some numbers from 2009 and compared them to 2002 in terms of the number of farm machinery auctions, and we're talking a 52.9% drop in the raw number of auctions. So again, it plays into this availability factor. Less machinery available, more folks looking to buy, equals stronger used values. So let's go to the next slide. Some signs I'm beginning to see here this spring in March and April of some things changing in the used machinery market. Specifically, point number 1 here, an increase in the number of very large machinery auctions, dealer inventory reduction auctions, and also a high number of large consignment auctions. Hadn't really seen a lot of the big dealer auctions here the last couple of years. And again, that started to make a comeback in March and April of this year. Point 2, something I'm really keeping my eye on consignment sales here in the last month. The number of no-sale items has shot up significantly. One of my reps from Central Illinois sent me a note last week from an auction here in late May, and he covered the sale, reported the prices, and said he's never seen an auction in all his 20-30 years going to sales, never seen a sale with so many no-sale items. And that's a comment I've heard from numerous sources here this spring. So I guess we're kind of keeping our eye on that a little bit. Okay, next slide. This is a little case study. If we pinpointed this geographically, we could, there was a dealer in west central Minnesota that had two very large dealer auctions. One was right before Christmas, December 17th, 2009, the second one on St. Patrick's Day. And now I was at that one shooting video, which you can find on our YouTube channel. But basically the December sale was red hot. Prices through the roof, quite often higher than the dealer was hoping or expecting on all types of late model combines, tractors, all types of equipment. Big part of that, of course, was the year-end tax buyer. November, December, the last 3 years. Boy, what a great time to have a sale, because that tax write-off is a huge incentive. Now, if we jump forward only 3 months to the March auction, the edge was just off. The sale was fine. I think the dealer was happy with the results, but you know, from the buyer perspective, there just wasn't quite the heat. So another change we're keeping our eye on here. So next slide deals again with how the dealers are reacting and dealing with what's happening out there right now. You know, sales of new equipment, new tractors and combines, other equipment have been very strong. And I think over the last few years, that equipment they were able to turn very quickly. It was almost hit before it even hit the lot. The dealer was able to have it spoken for and moved. Whereas right now, particularly on late model combines and planters, that might not be the case. We're starting to see some inventory build up in those two instances, planters and combines. So again, I think dealers acting very aggressively, trying to get ahead of the curve a little bit here, and maybe have some of these large dealer auctions to pare down inventory. Okay, next slide. Very interesting contradiction though. Farm auctions, I am still seeing very strong auction prices across the board, even trending towards many record sale prices, even on combines. Here are 3 examples from this winter and spring. The first one, a Case IH 1660, 1,259 engine hours, February 20th, Southwest Ontario, $72,000. That is just unbelievably high. No heads with that, by the way. So obviously just a record by a mile. And you'll see on the other examples too, the John Deere 9550, also from Ontario, $152,000. Again, that's a record high auction price. And then the John Deere 9600 on the sale in Kansas back right before Valentine's Day for $79,000 on a 97 model. Now I was there at the auction shooting video, and you could feel it. The folks willing to pay a premium for nice conditioned one owner equipment on farm auctions. And again, farm auctions have been so rare with this nice equipment. There's just a lot of competitive bidding on prices, and I guess I don't see that changing here going forward 2010, given the number of sales we have. Okay, next slide. Just again looking at the combine market specifically, you can see here 3 John Deere examples. The late model 9770 STS, basically made from 2008 to 2010 here. What the auction price has done, they've gone from an average of $217,000 at auction in 2008, kind of right when we were at the max of the frenzy with used equipment, down to $199,200 last year, and average auction price so far this year is running at $182,818. You can see similar slight drop-offs in values with the 9760s and the 9600s.